And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Monday, St. Patrick's Day. Luck of the Irish be with you today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director Bridgette Readel, and I'm the only one in studio here that doesn't have green on. Sorry.
That is actually a downfall on your part.
I know. I was in a rush to get out the door this morning, so.
I remembered the one thing I have to go with St. Patrick's Day today. And that is the button that says World's Tallest Leprechaun.
Oh, is that what I didn't see?
Oh, yeah. It's the one day of the year. Got to break that out.
Where you could be tall, right?
That's exactly right. I can be somebody's mascot.
Oh, there you go. Well, we've got some halfway decent weather outside right now. There was some snow in the far northern valley, generally along and north of Highway 2, but that has moved off now into areas of northwestern Minnesota for the most part. And we're looking at temperatures a little cooler in the 20s in the northern valley, while we're sitting at about 40 here in the FM area. So a big variety in temperatures. One of the reasons we're seeing a little bit more sunshine here in the FM, along and south of the 94 corridor. So that's why temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer. And we're going to continue to warm things up today into, it looks like, the low to mid 40s as we see a little more sunshine as we look west, and we're seeing more blue sky. But it won't last long. After topping out in the mid 40s today in the southern valley, we'll cloud up and drop off into the mid 20s overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, clouds thicken up. Could see an isolated rain or snow shower in the afternoon. Not looking for much out of that. We need the moisture badly. We got missed by that storm on Friday for the most part. Lakes Country got some precip, but we just didn't get much here in the FM area. And Tuesday's not going to help. Sun comes back on Wednesday. It's going to be windy, though, with highs in the mid to upper 30s. And then sunshine. Thursday is the official first day of spring, and it's going to be the pick day of the week as well. Upper 40s, plenty of sunshine and light winds. And then Friday, we'll look at temperatures remaining in the mid 40s. As we head into the weekend, we'll see more cloud cover Saturday and Sunday. Right now, Saturday looks good for the St. Patty's Day parade, lower 40s. And then Sunday, it looks like we stand a chance for some rain or snow coming in here by afternoon. Let's hope so. Again, we need the moisture with highs on Sunday in the lower 40s. So no big storms on the horizon, although the LRC is hinting at something towards the end of the month or that first week in April. We'll see how that goes. Even if we get missed, here's the one thing to look forward to. So this quote-unquote stormy part of the LRC cycle, which is going to it brought a blizzard that missed us. There's another potential blizzard down in the Central Plains middle of this week. Obviously, that will miss us. But this whole thing, when this cycles back towards the end of April, should be lifting further north into our area. So hopefully we can see some beneficial rains out of that by the end of April.
Oh, I would imagine we will.
I hope.
And the discussions I've had this morning with a couple of different farmers said, they expect that they might be doing a little field work late next week as we look towards wheat. There's nothing wrong with planting when it's dry, because you can get more seed in the ground and then just hope for good rainfall after the fact. So we'll see what that looks like. Not only is it St. Patrick's Day, it's the week of the first day of spring, it is the kickoff to National Ag Week today. And for me, this is like my Christmas of the whole year, right? We've got nothing but good things to go on about ag this week. Want to make sure that folks know that we are still taking your nominations for farmers who you think are deserving of the Farmer's Prayer quilt that we're giving away. And that quilt is a 5x7 foot quilt. It features the Farmer's Prayer on it. If you were to go to our website for WDAY, you will find a button on there for National Ag Week, and you can click that button and send in your nominations. We'll be drawing for that quilt this Friday in this show, in this hour, 1 to 2 o'clock.
How many nominations do we have in already? Do you know?
It was not fair to tell you.
Okay.
I can't tell you that. It's so festive around here. Addison, our sound engineer, just said we should have dyed Cooper, our mascot here.
Green.
He's the Highlander, and we should have made him a little green. He can go to Brew Hollow with me after this. I got a meeting over there.
There you go.
It's not even just a meeting. It's a real meeting.
I'm sure it's
real.
I'm sure it's a real meeting.
So there'll be lots of other things going on for National Ag Week this week. And we want us to make sure to say thank you to the sponsors of our Quilt, Triple E Incorporated, Sendat Cooperative, Feving Oil and Propane. And also, we have many other sponsors for the whole week. Welton's Tire Service out of Lisbon, Satcham Hyam Seed, Luther Family for It, and the Hankinson Insurance Agency. So thanks to all of those people for what they do for us. We really appreciate that.
Good deal. So are you looking forward to Ag Week? You've probably got a busy week with meetings.
Yeah. Hey, easy on the meetings. Tomorrow kicks off the International Sugar Beet Institute at the Fargo Dome. That'll be Tuesday and Wednesday. This is a function that's been going on since 1963 here in the Red River Valley, highlighting sugar beets, the equipment, the technology that goes with it. Tomorrow morning, Jim Weisenmeyer, who is with Pro Farmer and Farm Journal, is going to be speaking, talking about policy and economics. Then also they have a panel, and they are going to have some of the folks from the area who do sugar beet farming. One of them is Michael Dusick, who's better known on YouTube as Beet Farmin' Mitch. He is going to have a panel called Sugar Beets Then, Now, and in the Future. So there are going to be lots of things that are happening throughout the week in regards to Ag Week. Friday, North Dakota Agri-Women will be at the Capitol with Governor Armstrong for a proclamation signing for Ag Week as well. So we want to make sure that folks are aware of all of those events and can attend whenever they want. They're all open to the public.
Busy week.
I'm looking forward to it. If you have events that are happening during Ag Week, you are welcome to give us a call. You can reach us on the JLA Insurance phone line, and that number is 701-293-9000. Peterson Farm Seed is hosting agronomy meetings all across the area. Tomorrow, they will be in Minto at 10 a.m., Wapenen at 6 p.m., and then on Wednesday, they'll be in Jamestown at 10 a.m. If you're curious about times, locations, etc., you are welcome to drop me an email, ag@flagfamily.com, and I'll fill you in. But they are calling these their Cup of Agronomy, and it's a series of local workshops designed to talk about seed and agronomy specific to your region, where you farm, in order for you to get your best crop and best yield out of the ground.
Good
All right,
deal.
plenty of things going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good thing. And we've got some special guests coming on with us today.
We do. We've got a full house in here today. And joining us, we've got students representing 4-H, as well as the Livestock Enrichment Program out at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. Anna and Sarah Thomas are joining us today. They are 4-Hers. I told the girls it's a great balance because I don't have a lot of 4-H experience. I spent most of my time in FFA. I forgot to take a home ec class and everything, the whole regards. So you guys can probably help me quite a bit in my 4-H knowledge, but then also about the enrichment program that happens out at the fairgrounds.
Okay, for those that don't know, what's the difference between 4-H and FFA?
Well, okay, so I've got two here who can correct me if I get this wrong. All right, so for FFA, we are starting with students who are 7th graders in high school, and you age out at age 21. You have to have an ag education class during your school day. Okay, so whether you're in class, even if you're homeschooling, you still have to be a part of an ag education classroom. You then have a supervised ag experience program, which means you are in a livestock enterprise, you have an off-farm job, something along those lines. That is your project. And then the last one is that you would then be part of your FFA chapter, which is an extension of that. Now, 4-H, which is not done through the public school like FFA is, 4-H is done through the Extension Service, and that's through the land-grant universities in every state in the nation. 4-H starts out as clover buds. You can be 5, right? Okay, we got a nod. Remember later on, ladies, nodding doesn't make noise. So we're going to have to say yeses or nos over the microphones, okay? All right, so yep. So we can start at clover buds at 5. Did you start as a clover bud?
I did not, no. I started around the beginning of middle school, I think.
Okay. And with 4-H, it's all outside of classrooms. So you're doing this through your club, and you have a very broad expanse of topics, everything from robotics and engineering through livestock production, crop production, et cetera, right? Am I on track?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So there. Does that help, Dean? A little bit more.
It does. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. And really, the alumni that we have in this region of students who have been 4-H or FFA and or both is tremendous. We have a very big base of folks who've done both and still support them very heavily.
Good deal.
Yeah. It's pretty neat with all the things that they do. Now, along those lines of 4-H and FFA, one thing to talk about, and this actually, the reason it stuck out to me was I get Horde's Dairyman, which is a magazine that's been published for well over 100 years now, specifically focusing on the dairy industry. And they have a column every month called The Young Dairyman. And there are 4-H and FFA logos right here on the article talking about A2 milk. And for those of you who have seen this in the stores, A2 milk really refers to the proteins that are happening. All fluid milk has A1s and A2s. A2 only contains the A2 variant of a beta-casein protein, okay? So the branding of A2 milk is to certify that that carton only came from cows producing that particular protein. Generally speaking, that's from a Jersey or a Guernsey. Holsteins do less of the production of the A2s, and most of us are familiar with the Holsteins, the black and white pattern cows. Why do people care about buying A2 milk? That comes down to personal preference. There's not a lot of scientific data out there that would say it's better for you in any way or that it changes your digestibility. But if you are someone who is lactose intolerant or has a concern about that, A2 milk is found to be much easier on your stomach, and folks seem to like it a little bit more. It's also still a pasteurized milk, which is different than raw milk, which is a non-pasteurized. And so we have a lot of things happening in our supermarkets and on our dairy shelves. And so just a distinction for folks who are wondering, what's the A2 milk?
Where can you get the A2 milk?
You can buy it in pretty much all the grocery stores in the region.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And there are some local dairies. There is one over by Monoman, I believe, that is already, it's a smaller farmer, and they are producing specific A2 milk.
How is it labeled?
A2. It's got a great big label on it.
Because I've never seen it in the supermarket.
Yep,
so.
it's got a big label on it that says A2. So you'll be able to tell the difference.
I'll have to look next time.
Yeah. I was asked earlier on one of our shows today if it's more expensive. I have not priced it, so I honestly can't tell you if there's a difference in the pricing.
Okay. I've got to go to the store after work.
Report back.
I will look for it.
Send photos. Addison will get them in the live stream.
Okay.
He always does. So, yeah, we can figure out what it does.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, look forward to it.
And I'll check the price on it for you.
Thank you. So, yeah, we'll be joined in our next segment by those voices in the back, our 4-H authorities, and that is Anna and Sarah Thompson. They are part of the Red River Valley Fair 4-H Club, and we want to hear all about what they do and more, especially with this Livestock Enrichment program. And we will do that after the markets now. And thanks for joining us on Weather and Ag in Focus. And it is a week of agricultural focus. It is National Ag Week. We are celebrating all week long, especially tomorrow, National Ag Day. And we have the opportunity today to be joined in studio by some local 4-H'ers. And of course, we have Anna and Sarah Thomas. They are in 4-H and also the Red River Valley Fair Livestock Enrichment Program. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, let's get started on who you are, what you do, etc. And I'm going to, Sarah talked a little bit earlier, so I'm going to have Anna give a little bit of an introduction, if you would.
Yes, so Sarah and I are part of the Red River Valley Fair 4-H group, and we are also part of the Red River Valley Fair Livestock Enrichment Program.
It's okay, you can keep going. You're looking at your notes, and that's just fine. When you say you're part of 4-H, how long have you been in 4-H? What year are you in school, etc.?
We have been in 4-H for several years. We started at the beginning of middle school. We're now in 9th grade. It is something that is super fun for us to do. We have lots of projects that we work on, lots of opportunities with our club to do learning and service projects. Some of the fun things that we enjoy doing are working with animals. That's a super big part of our 4-H. It doesn't have to be for everyone, but we really like the animal side of things. We also enjoy doing visual arts, which includes painting and ceramics. One of the other ones that we've recently started doing is sewing in textiles. I like doing macrame. Sarah is really good at sewing. There are many other projects that you can pick to do in 4-H. You could do STEM, you could do engineering, animals, art.
Okay, got quite a list. And did I miss it when I was making notes? What year in school are you?
9th grade.
9th grade, so freshman. All right, so Sarah, did your sister miss anything?
No, I think she got everything.
And so with textiles, first of all, you're going to blow me out of the water as the kid who never took home ec and can sew a mean pillowcase. What are some of the things that you are working on in that aspect? What are some of your projects?
Well, I'm not currently working on anything, but a really big project last year was I did the clothing review for 4-H, and I made a Japanese kimono.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold the phone. Don't you have to make that out of silk?
Satin.
Okay. How?
I will never do satin again. I didn't like that.
Every home seamstress just said, yes, she's right. Okay. All right. Livestock, ladies. You said you both have, first of all, I don't know if that noise is going out over the airwaves or not, but
They're putting the flag back up on the top of this.
Maybe we could have chose a different time, guys.
Right,
Holy
exactly.
cow.
Santa's back.
Santa's back.
Santa's back. Could you tell Rudolph to lay off the stomping just a smidge? Okay, let's talk about livestock if we could. And so, Sarah, you're both involved with livestock projects. How did that start? Have you been doing them for a while? Was it just all of a sudden this crazy idea that we're putting a goat in the backyard? Word thing, and I'm teasing about the goat, but what happened?
Well, about 2 years ago, 4 years ago? No, it was 2 years ago.
I love the hand signals. Okay, keep them going. It's fine.
About 2 years ago, Mom found this thing on a 4-H flyer for the Livestock Enrichment Program. It was a fairly new thing. And Anna works at a ranch, so she's like, I'm not going to get involved.
Okay, hold on. What ranch and where?
I work at Rusty K Ranch in Davenport, riding and helping teach kids how to ride horses.
Cool.
Okay, excellent. All right, now let's go back to Sarah.
So she wasn't going to get involved. She did, but I was like, yeah, I want to go. Let's do this. And so I've done it for the past 2 years. I'm going to do it again this year. And yeah.
I was kidding about the goat, but you're not.
Well, it doesn't live in my backyard. It lives at the fairgrounds because
okay.
Dad said no goats in the backyard.
Most dads are smart enough to say that. Yes, that's a very good thing. Okay, so goats for Sarah. What did you choose, Anna?
I chose to work with sheep. After watching Sarah do it for the first year and making lots of friends, helping out at the barn, watching them show, I thought it was a really cool thing to do. I really got into the sheep, though.
Okay.
I found them super interesting. They have such a personality. I did get the opportunity to work with a sheep that Emily had from last year.
Okay. And by Emily, we're talking about the gal who's out at the fairgrounds with the
Yes.
enrichment program. Yep.
She helps run the enrichment program. Her daughter also did a sheep that year, and I got to work with him. He was super fun. I thought it was funny. He came if you called his name. He followed me around. It was very fun. So I had decided that that would be a super cool thing to do. You also can do hogs with the enrichment program. That's another fun one. Hogs are a tiny bit easier, a little bit less of a time commitment than sheep or goats, but they're all a super fun animal to hang out with.
Okay. Lots of questions here for you guys. First of all, was there an application form after Mom saw the flyer? Was there an application you had to fill out?
Yeah, there is an application form. This year they changed it to a QR code, which I'm not a huge fan of. But you get the application when you go to the informational meeting, which
Okay.
they do. They just did this year's one.
Okay.
They do that in about March, and you officially gain ownership of the animal on May 1st.
Okay.
On April 25th, you go and there's a animal lottery where you'll draw numbers for the goats and sheep. You draw a number for the ear tag, and that's the goat or sheep you get. For the pigs, they have very crudely painted numbers on their backs that no one can read.
It's probably chalk is really what, and maybe if it's in the outline of a ham, I'd be nervous if I were that hog. But anywho, keep going.
And yeah.
Okay. So when you said take possession of them, you said Dad told you can't bring them home.
Nope.
So what do you have to do every day to do this?
We get to go out to the fairgrounds. During the weekdays, we're on a schedule for feeding, so depending upon how many animals there are and who's doing it, you'll get assigned a weekday to come out, feed your animal, and feed all the other animals that are of the same species. So you'd come out, if you have a sheep, you would feed all the sheep. If you have a goat, you would feed all the goats. If you have a pig, you'd check on all the pigs. During the weekends, going into June, we do work days. That's practicing how to show. We usually get a guest to come out and show us the ways that you can show the animals and how you'll be doing it once fair comes. Weekends, you'll come out and feed just your own animal. Goats and sheep are fed morning and evening, and pigs, you just have to come out at some time during Sunday and Saturday to check on them.
Okay, so during the week when you're going out to feed, how many goats are you feeding when you're there taking care of them all?
Well, we weren't there the first year. The second year they did the program, there was 7 goats.
Okay, not bad.
And last year there was 10.
Okay.
I think sheep have always been around 3.
Oh, so that's a small number.
Yes.
A lot of pigs, though.
I think we went
17.
did we go from 17 the second year to
32?
No,
Oh,
that was the whole program.
That's a lot of
but-
bacon on the foot right there walking around. Wow. Okay. But you don't have to worry about the hogs when you're there. You guys are in charge of your species.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And I will tell you, it's probably a lot easier with sheep. They don't climb on stuff nearly like goats do, trying to keep everybody in their pens. Is that true?
Yeah.
That goat.
That's that goat.
Yeah. My last goat, Dwayne, really liked to climb the bleachers, and he would consistently kind of slip on it. And I'm like, don't do that. You're going to fall off, and you're going to... He did not listen.
What's your favorite animal to work with that you've worked with?
The goats,
The goat?
100%.
Did goat Dwayne come with his own name, or did you get to name him?
I got to name him.
Anna, how about you?
Can I say horses? No,
Yeah,
that's
you
not part
Yes.
of the LEP program, but I
That's
do
okay.
really like working with horses. Out of LEP, sheep are definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do horses listen better than sheep?
Yes, usually.
All right. We want to touch on the bottom of the hour news. And when we return, y'all have a bunch of visual aids that we need to talk about what you're doing. You've got your project books with you, all sorts of things. So we're going to take the time to do that. If you are not following in today's live stream, which you can find under Weather and Ag in Focus on Facebook, YouTube, and Acres TV, you're going to want to tune in so you can see what the girls have to show. We'll be right back. It is National Ag Week here at WDAY, and thanks for joining us on Weather and Ag in Focus. We are indeed celebrating all things agriculture. Dean and I do that pretty much every day, but this is a big week. And we have joining us today Anna and Sarah Thomas. They're in studio. We're talking about 4-H as well as the Livestock Enrichment Program out at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. All right, ladies, you mentioned work days. So that was what Anna brought up. What are we talking about when it's a work day? What are the things that you're learning to do with the whole herd that's out there that at that time?
We'll take turns by species going into the arena, which is set up. The arena is the same one that we'll get to use when we show at the fair. And whomever is our guest will be teaching us how to show the animals, how to walk them, where you're supposed to stand them, how you set up your goat and lamb, when you come in, when you go out, when you leave the arena, shake the judge's hand, everything that you need to do. And another thing that we'll also have to work on is preparing the animals for show. We'll learn how to bathe them, clip them, trim their feet.
It's like a beauty pageant.
Sounds like it.
It really is, right? Because everybody's got to be cleaned up and looking pretty. When we say clipping, all right, so I'm going to ask you, Sarah, to describe that when it comes to clipping so folks know what you mean.
Well, with the sheep, it's literally shearing the sheep. And the goats, you do the same thing. We just call it clipping. Don't know why it's called clipping, but
A haircut is essentially what they're getting. A buff and a polish. They'll get the heels all shiny, or the hooves all shiny.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, how did first wash go? You have some pictures I noticed. We can hold those up and certainly can zoom in on those with the camera. But who was more surprised, you or your sheep?
My sheep was not super pleased. The sheep are usually from this last year and the year before that, if I were to bathe the sheep, they would look all sad and they'd walk into the stall. And if you'd spray the water, if it was too cold, they would walk away from it.
Drama queen.
Sarah's goat specifically from the first year did not like baths. I remember walking my lamb right by him, and he's standing there outside the wash rack, pulling back on his halter, saying, "No, I do not want a bath."
Was he like that the whole time?
the first one, yes. The second one, he tolerated it, but he did not like it. After the first bath of the year, though, they both hold a grudge.
They are not pleased with what you've done. Okay, so it's show day. What do you have to do on show day to get everybody ready?
Usually when we first get there, we'll take our animals out. You'll have to take off anything that they're wearing. A lot of times we'll put the sheep and the goats in a blanket or sometimes a tube. A tube is a lot like, it's kind of like a swimsuit. And it just keeps all of the shavings off of their coat and keeps them from getting dirty. So that way you don't have to worry about bathing them early in the morning, or you only have to bathe their legs. Once they've been bathed and they're clean and ready to go, then you put your show clothes on. Because if you put your show clothes on before you get your animal ready, your show clothes are no longer show ready.
Do you realize this? Mom is laughing in the corner. This is an internship into motherhood, because you also don't put your good clothes on until the kids are ready, right? Okay, fair enough. Okay, so now you got dressed, and there is an official look when you're going into the show ring, isn't there?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, you got to do jeans. And for the 4-H shows, you do have to wear a 4-H shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just wear T-shirts. Anna and I like to do collared shirts. I don't like to do white because that's going to get dirty.
Right.
Anna does white, though, because it looks really nice with the sheep. The sheep is white. She does white shirt, black jeans. Looks really nice with the sheep.
Yep.
For the open show, it's just jeans and just a blouse or polo, or just a nice shirt like that. And I wear rubber boots in there, but they actually look really nice. They don't look like rubber boots. And I think Anna wears her cowgirl boots.
So once we're in the arena, have things always gone smoothly? I mean, I've worked with livestock before. It's not always so smooth.
Well, I'm not sure if you know this, but when you do show your lamb, you're showing them without a halter. You're holding them. You have one hand under their chin and one hand behind their ears. I think it was the first show that we were in. I let the sheep go. Never, ever let the sheep go.
Uh-oh.
And she turned around and had ran off because there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of people, a lot of other sheep.
Oh, sure.
Thankfully, somebody was able to turn around and grab her around the neck. I did make it into the ring, albeit a little bit after everybody else and a little bit more worried, but we made it.
A little excitement in your day. Well, and it's easier to hang on to your sheep or your goat, right? But what's happening with all those folks trying to show hogs? What does that look like?
That can be interesting. There are some people, they have their hogs really under control. They just lightly tap their shoulder and the hog goes that way. And then actually the clover buds looked really good.
Oh, wow.
But then some of the hogs are a little more, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go this way because I want to go this way. And that, I almost want to compare that to herding cats.
Oh, I was going to give you that one. Yep, totally.
Is that where they get the term pig-headed from?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it?
Hogs do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Which would lead into what happens after the program ends? What's going to go on with the critters at that point? Because I think this is part of your contract. It's not like you, again, Dad said no goats in the backyard. So what happens?
Yes, once our contract ends, at the end of fair, we no longer will take care of our animals. Our animals will usually spend another couple months getting fed, just hanging out, and then they'll go to processing. This is part of our requirement on our contract is that they go to processing. And if that's a word that's unfamiliar to you, that just means that they get turned into meat for eating.
Well, we talked about this a little bit. Okay, so I've had lamb pretty regularly. Have you guys tried lamb?
I've had lamb, yes.
Okay, but goat, little bit different as far as the comparison, right? Have you tried goat meat?
I've never tried goat meat. I'd be willing to try it, but maybe not my goat.
Okay, fair. Totally fair. In our discussion about that before we got on air, we said that goat meat is, if you were to take like beef, cook down beef, like a pot roast, or if you wanted to have shredded beef or something that's similar texture, a little more dry. But that's part of the whole contract, right? You have to take this literally from the beginning to end with these animals and know what's going to happen with them. And that's the way a farmer raises them as well.
You know, Edison, our producer, had a good point here. He just messaged us. He said, I could never take care of an animal to any degree and then have to send it off to slaughter. How difficult is that?
Honestly, I don't find that too difficult, especially because they go and live off without us for about a month before they actually do go to processing.
Okay.
And also, I know that he's a boar goat, and you can't breed him because he's a wether. Can't use him as a milk goat because he's a boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, no matter who owns him, he's going to go to processing.
Okay.
And this way, I just get to make sure he's getting taken care of and loved
Before
and has
that.
the best possible
Okay.
life.
Yeah. What about you, Anna? What's your thoughts on it? Does it bother you?
Not so much. Sometimes every once in a while, if you end up with a female, either a goat or a lamb or a pig, they will use them for breeding.
Okay.
One of my lambs did get used as a breeding lamb. The other one went to processing. But it's as Sarah said, it might as well get to take care of them if they're already getting to be turned into meat anyways.
Absolutely. Okay, so you guys have a ton of pictures and so forth. And why don't you feel free, if you can hold them up, Addison will do his best to screen in on or shoot in on them for you so we can see them. But what are some of the things that you have in your pictures that you were highlighting?
Well, these ones right here,
Yep, there you go.
they have a lot of pictures of goat and lamb baths. This one right here is actually, this hide is from my first goat. I was learning to tan the hide.
Oh, okay.
First goat's name is Horace. He lives on my bedroom wall now.
I was going to ask what you did with the hide. Very cool. And how long did it take you to tan it?
A couple weeks.
That was a big process.
Yeah.
Something definitely in the garage, not the kitchen table.
Yeah.
Okay.
This photo up here is of me clipping the goat or shearing the goat, all the way down to his little buzz cut. He tolerated that pretty well, actually.
Okay.
He does not tolerate the clipping the feet as well, just because goats don't like when you touch their feet.
No. No, that didn't go over as well as one would think. So you also have your record book with you. So Anna, can you tell us about what your 4-H record book holds? What are the things that you have to document as part of your projects?
Our record books will contain, we have to keep track of meetings that we do. So
Just going to make you sit a little closer and hold your book up. There you go.
any meetings that we do during the year, you'll be filling out. They'll get an agenda, and you'll fill out what the roll call topic was, what the treasury balance was for your club, what activity you did, what announcements there are. You'll also have to fill out projects for your book.
Okay.
So
Oh, I see. You've got a certificate that completed in hippology.
Yep. So I did a horse project. I did with 4-H. I did a certificate for on hippology. I took an online class. It was super interesting. You also have to fill out any other ones that you've done. I have.
Looks like you're keeping track of your expenses, your leadership. You've got pretty much everything in there. So at the end of your book, you could put that all together and use some of that towards scholarship application information.
Yes.
And your college entrance exams, et cetera, right?
Yep. In the end, they also have a spot for photographs so you can show off projects that you've done. I have pictures from demonstrations that I have done that I would show off for the record book. It'll get you a little bit more attention.
Now, as 4-H members, you have to present within your club meetings as well, correct? You have to do some of your demonstrations. I've been fortunate to be asked to help with my nieces from time to time. What is something that you have gone in and done as a demonstration for the club, Sarah?
Well, I actually don't present as much as Anna, but
Okay.
one time I did do how to make little ice cream turtle things. They were delicious, I'm just going to say.
All right. See, it's not just about livestock. We're working in the food services items as well. Okay, so what are some of the things you've presented on for your club?
Most recently, I did a practice presentation for communication arts. It's very similar to speech. It's for 4-H. You pick a topic, you pick a category, and you get to go and present it. They'll give you a ribbon, and they'll give you some comments on your public speaking. I'm also the president of our club, so I will go through our agenda and read it for everybody. We'll go through the pledges, and then we'll do the treasury balance, any topics.
Okay. See, this is why I needed a comparison on 4-H to FFA.
Right. Now, do you need to keep a certain GPA to stay in 4-H?
No?
Mm-mm.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
All outside public school.
Okay.
If you were an FFA member, you would have to stay eligible just like you would for sports or anything like that.
Okay.
Yes. So, ladies, you've done a fabulous job talking about 4-H with us today. Will you all be going to the State 4-H conference in June here in Fargo?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
I have to look at my calendar.
Decisions haven't been made yet, but you just never know. Okay. So, yes, we do celebrate the State 4-H conference in June here on campus at NDSU. That's one of the largest youth gatherings they host up there. FFA has theirs there as well. So do Boys State, Girls State, et cetera. So there's lots of opportunities for you guys to get exposure to the campus. Thank you for coming in. Don't forget you've got your boards. So we're going to have to make sure that we get a photo of those so that Addison can put those in our live stream for people to look at because you brought your display boards. Dwayne the Goat looks like he's got his own billboard situation over there.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks for coming in today. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
That's
Yes,
all
thank
right.
you.
That's all right.
You know what? She's practicing because I already told them they could be an assistant ag directors if I get their application. So she's practicing
Hey,
up.
see, there you go. There you go.
All right. When we return, we want to make sure to recap the weather and touch any other further headlines for National Ag Week, and we will do that after this.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And nice afternoon is turning out to be here in the FM area as we've seen a break in the clouds and temperatures in the 40s. Not too bad. While they're still seeing a little bit of light snow in the far northern valley and temperatures there in the 20s. So we need the moisture. And I'll tell you what, we are in the stormy part of the LRC cycle right now through the first week in April. Now, you're probably saying, hey, Dean, all right, we missed one storm. We're missing another storm this week to our south, which is expected to give blizzard conditions to the Central Plains. When is it our turn? And just hang tight. The models have been hinting at, and the LRC is on board with that too. That towards the end of the month, into the first week in April, we will see and the active pattern really start to kick in. So I know a lot of our ag community want us to get the moisture. It doesn't at this point. It really doesn't matter whether it's rain or snow. But it looks like as we head towards the end of the month, that first week in April, we will start to get some much needed precip around the area. And keep in mind, this same pattern is coming back end of April into the first week in May. So that would be beneficial for our ag community too. So just it's been a dry winter. It really has been, but just have faith. It looks like we're going to start to play a little catch up on the precip.
There will be some catch up to be done. And one of those things that you all might want to be catching up on prior to getting into the field would be your tech support. And Tech Support Farm is a regular contributor to what we do on this show. We see Chris Sherman come in and he talks about the things to make our data safe, whether it's in our tractors, in our shops, and so much more. So technology is supposed to help us on the farm or ranch. If you have technology questions about how to make it run better, don't forget to reach out to Chris at techsupport.farm. Wait, no, it's techsupportfarm.com. I've used his email and website enough to know that one, but definitely want you to look into that. I need to say thank you to Trucker Al, one of our listeners. Mm-hmm. I got a bunch of egg cartons from him, and thank you. I don't have chickens, but I have a neighbor who does, and because I get eggs from that said neighbor, I appreciate that, Al. Thanks for helping me out.
And you said production is coming up now with the warmer weather?
Well, not just with warmer weather, longer daylight hours. So I think most anybody who's chicken ranching these days would tell you that they are seeing an increase in their egg supply with longer days.
Okay.
So that's not a surprise.
Now, I get eggs from somebody, and I didn't ask why, but the last 2-3 weeks, he hasn't brought any eggs in. I mean, is it due to because we've had increased daylight, but can they just totally shut down?
Sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't have them spread out, then everybody shuts down at the same time versus having them delayed. You know, if you think about like the cycle on dairy cattle, you don't want all your dairy cattle to go dry, meaning you don't want all your dairy cattle pregnant at the same time because then you don't have any milk for a select amount of time.
Okay.
So you space them out.
Gotcha.
I don't have backyard chickens. I'm not active in that, but I've noticed several things. One is if you don't have enough calcium, like a lot of times oyster shells are fed to chickens because it increases their shell strength. Mm-hmm. That matters. And older hens tend to have thinner shells. So it can depend on the age of your birds. I have been told that it is pretty much not able to find new chicks this year. Chicks are pretty much sold out, spoken for, reserved, whatever you want to call it, because everybody wants chickens now.
All the good chicks are spoken for,
all
aren't they,
the
though?
good chicks are
all
taken.
the good chicks are always.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Addison.
You were waiting for that. Waiting for that joke. I get it. Now, being it's National Ag Week, we can't forget about safety. And one of the things that I want to stress is there's a project called tellingthestoryproject.org. Go look at this website. There's 15 different farm safety stories. One of them that is featured is a gentleman I know, and he's a veterinarian, Eric Knock from Miller, South Dakota. He was working with a crew in a pasture in September of 2022. And Eric's a fairly tall guy. I know his brother Jared as well. And when he was done working on an animal as a veterinarian, now I need you to envision what a squeeze chute looks like. Animal runs into the chute. Their head gets caught in the gate in the front so that they're held still. You can squeeze the gate or the chute tighter so that the animal can't move, and that prevents injury to you or the animal. They had that chute squeezed tighter. When they released it, happened to be the same time that Eric stood up. his head got caught between between the chute frame and the squeeze mechanism, causing skull fracture.
Oh.
And so he spent 12 days in the hospital with bleeding on the brain, nerve damage to an eye, and also damage to a middle ear and eardrum. The story here is to take those few seconds to look around your surroundings and be sure that you are safe. When we are often joined by Dr. Emily Fox, veterinarian from the Ashley Vet Clinic, she will remind us of that too. It's not just safety for us as humans, but also for the animals. And that's one of those things that you least expect, is that you are tall enough to stand up, and when that squeeze chute separates out at the top of the frame and you get caught in it. So be careful. If you are interested in looking at other stories, again, that website is tellingthestoryproject.org, and you can go there for several farm safety discussions.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, that brings us to a close here on Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank everybody for joining us on this pretty decent St. Patrick's Day afternoon. And again, be sure to tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Don't go anywhere. Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.